Hello, my name's Laura and I am an occupational therapist who works at Treetops. I work mainly within special schools and particularly with more complex clients. So we thought we'd do a little video today on sensory processing and how sensory processing difficulties can affect different children. So first of all, if we talk about sensory integration and what this is. So sensory integration is a process that happens all of the time in everybody. So we're all doing sensory processing at all times. So what it involves is our body is constantly being bombarded with sensory information. So whether this is sounds, smells, lights, touch, movement, tastes, all of these impulses are making their way to the body. The brain then has to organise all of this sensory information, work out what's relevant and work out what we can ignore so that we can then do what we need to do in everyday life. So whether that's to help us pay attention, to help us learn and help us do daily activities. So this loop is going on all of the time and it helps us to organise ourselves. What we know with some of our children is this process isn't happening very well and sometimes it can cause a bit of a traffic jam in the brain. So the problems can arise within one or all of our sensory systems. So when we talk about our sensory systems, we do actually have 8. 5 of these you're probably all aware of. We have our sense of smell, touch, taste, vision and hearing. We also have 3 other sensory systems that not everyone is as familiar with. So we've got our vestibular system, which is our movement and our balance sense. Our proprioceptive system, which is our muscle memory sense, and we also have our interoceptive system, which is giving us information about inside of our body. So when we are thirsty, when we are hungry, and when we might need the toilet and things like that. So what we know with these sensory systems is they can either have an under response or an over response, and that then results in specific presentations within children. So if we think of children who are over-responding to sensory input, these children are going to present as very sensitive and potentially quite defensive. So they might be very sensitive towards certain sounds, cover their ears a lot of the time. They might be sensitive towards touch and be very picky with the clothing that they'll wear or that they can tolerate. They might have very rigid diets and be very picky eaters. And they also might be very sensitive within certain environments, so they might be very easily sent into overload. On the other side though, we do get children who are under-responsive to sensory information. So this then means that they might not hear the name being called, they might not pick up on their environment very well, so they might be quite clumsy and have poor motor skills. They might have food on the mouth and they might not pick up on this, or the clothes might fall down and they might not realise. They might have a high pain threshold as well. And some of these children can also be very sensory seeking. So all of these children are obviously very different and there's different activities that you can do to help, and we are going to post videos focusing on the specific behaviours in more detail. But for the purposes of today, we thought we'd just give you some really simple tools that can help, especially over the next few weeks when people might be struggling for what to do and different ideas that they can be completing in the home environment. So first of all, the main tip that we would give is using lots of heavy work. So heavy work engages our proprioceptive system and it involves any activities with resistance. So anything where we have to pull, push, carry, lift, anything involving our muscles and our joints. So we know that heavy work generally is quite common for children and it has more of an organising effect on the nervous system. So if you can try and incorporate heavy work activities into your day as much as possible, that's going to hopefully really help. So even if you're doing things in the garden such as digging, carrying, watering plants, activities within the home environment such as helping carrying the heavy washing basket or helping with hoovering or wiping down surfaces, and playing activities such as tugs of war, anything that's involving that pull and pushing sensation hopefully will be really organising. We would say movement as well, trying to give them some movement, so using your hour of exercise every day to get them out and moving. They could potentially even wear a weighted rucksack for this or a short time just to give them a bit more heavy work and proprioception. And finally, we would say trying to add structure to your day every day, so the children have a rough idea of what they're going to be doing, timetabling activities throughout the day. Hopefully this will then help them to stay a bit more focused and a little bit more calm as well.